The Phantom Hitchhiker on Route 666. Once upon a time, there was a lonely stretch of highway that wound its way through the desolate Badlands. The locals called it Route 666, and they whispered tales of strange happenings and unexplained sightings along its dusty length. One of the most enduring legends was that of the Phantom Hitchhiker, a ghostly figure who would appear on the side of the road, thumb outstretched, and vanish just as quickly as he had appeared. Some said he was the spirit of a lost traveler. Others claimed he was a victim of a hit and run. Still others swore he was the devil himself. One night, a young couple was driving down Route 666, on their way home from a night out in the nearby town. As they rounded a bend in the road, they saw a figure standing by the side of the road, waving frantically. The driver slowed down, and the figure ran up to the car and jumped into the back seat. The couple turned around to see who it was, but there was no one there. The car started to shake, and strange noises filled the air. Suddenly, the hitchhiker appeared in the back seat again, his eyes glowing red and his skin ashen gray. Terrified, the couple slammed on the gas and sped away from the Phantom Hitchhiker. As they drove, they heard the sound of laughter and felt the sensation of icy cold hands grabbing at their throats. Some people who dared to stop and pick up the hitchhiker never returned, leading others to speculate that the Phantom Hitchhiker was a malevolent spirit who sought revenge on those who had wronged him in life. Over the years, many paranormal investigators and ghost hunters attempted to unravel the mystery of the Phantom Hitchhiker on Route 666. Some claimed to have captured eerie EVP recordings and seen ghostly apparitions, while others reported feeling a palpable sense of dread and unease while driving down the haunted highway. Despite the numerous sightings and encounters, nobody has ever been able to definitively prove the existence of the Phantom Hitchhiker. Some skeptics dismiss the tales as nothing more than urban legends or the result of overactive imaginations. But for those who have experienced the terror firsthand, there is no denying the reality of the ghostly presence that lurks along Route 666. Despite the dangers, there were some who were drawn to the mystery and intrigue of Route 666. One such person was a young woman named Sarah, who had always been fascinated by tales of the supernatural and unexplained. One night, Sarah decided to take a drive down Route 666, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Phantom Hitchhiker or any other strange phenomena that might manifest along the way. She drove slowly, her eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement or activity. After a while, Sarah began to feel a sense of unease. The air around her seemed to grow thicker, and she could feel an almost palpable energy building in the car. Suddenly, she saw a figure in the distance, standing by the side of the road. As she approached, she could see that it was the Phantom Hitchhiker, his thumb outstretched, beckoning her to stop. Sarah felt a mixture of fear and curiosity, wondering what would happen if she picked up the ghostly hitchhiker. In the end, her curiosity got the better of her, and she slowed down, coming to a stop beside the hitchhiker. He climbed into the back seat, and Sarah could feel his icy cold breath on the back of her neck. For a moment, everything was still and quiet. And then, the hitchhiker began to laugh, a low, menacing sound that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. She slammed on the gas and sped away, feeling as though she had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. As she drove, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was following her, something dark and malevolent that wanted nothing more than to claim her as its own. She made it home safely, but the memory of the Phantom Hitchhiker stayed with her, haunting her dreams and filling her with a sense of dread that she could never fully shake. Sarah couldn't help but wonder what would have happened if she had stayed on Route 666 just a little longer. Would the Phantom Hitchhiker have followed her home, seeking revenge for being left behind once again? She tried to shake off the feeling of unease, but it lingered with her for days after the encounter. Determined to uncover the truth about the ghostly hitchhiker, Sarah began researching the history of Route 666 and the surrounding area. She discovered that the road was built on top of an ancient Native American burial ground, and that many believed the land was cursed by a powerful medicine man who had been wronged by the white settlers who took over the area. Sarah's research also led her to a retired police officer who had worked in the area for many years. He had heard countless stories of strange sightings and unexplained events, including reports of a woman in white who appeared on the side of the road, and a pack of ghostly dogs that chased after unsuspecting travelers. The retired officer warned Sarah to stay away from Route 666, saying that the land was cursed and that the spirits of those who had been wronged there would never rest. But Sarah was undeterred, and she continued to delve deeper into the mystery, determined to uncover the truth about the Phantom Hitchhiker and the other entities that haunted the Badlands. As Sarah delved deeper into the mystery, she began to experience strange occurrences herself. Objects moved on their own. She heard unexplained noises in the middle of the night, and she saw shadowy figures lurking in the corners of her room. Despite the danger, Sarah refused to give up her quest for the truth. She knew that there was something strange and powerful lurking in the Badlands, and she was determined to uncover its secrets, no matter the cost. Sarah's obsession with the Phantom Hitchhiker and the mysteries of Route 666 had consumed her life. She spent long hours researching, studying old newspaper clippings, and interviewing locals who had lived in the area for generations. One day, while digging through old archives in the basement of the local library, Sarah stumbled upon a dusty old journal. As she flipped through the pages, her heart raced with excitement. The journal belonged to a man named Jacob, who had traveled down Route 666 in the early 1900s. Jacob's journal was filled with tales of strange encounters, ghostly apparitions, and unexplained phenomena. He had seen the Phantom Hitchhiker himself, and had narrowly escaped with his life. As Sarah continued reading, she realized that Jacob's journal held the key to unlocking the secrets of Route 666. She spent days poring over the faded pages, piecing together a timeline of events and trying to make sense of the mysterious occurrences that had plagued the area for centuries. Finally, Sarah had enough information to write a book about Route 666 and the Phantom Hitchhiker. She poured her heart and soul into the project, determined to bring the truth to light. The book was a success, selling thousands of copies and earning Sarah fame and recognition as an expert in the paranormal. But for Sarah, the true victory was in finally unraveling the mystery of the Phantom Hitchhiker and putting the spirits of the Badlands to rest. Years later, Sarah returned to Route 666, this time as a respected researcher and author. As she drove down the haunted highway, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. The ghosts of the past had been laid to rest, and Sarah knew that she had finally fulfilled her destiny. As Sarah continued to delve deeper into the mysteries of Route 666, she began to uncover something that she had never expected. The truth about the Phantom Hitchhiker was not what it seemed. It turned out that the ghostly hitchhiker was not actually a vengeful spirit at all, but rather a tragic victim of circumstance. He had been a young man who had died in a car accident on Route 666 decades ago, and his ghost had been doomed to wander the Badlands ever since. Sarah was devastated by the revelation, realizing that she had been so consumed by her obsession with the supernatural that she had failed to see the human tragedy at the heart of the story. She vowed to use her research to help lay the ghost of the Phantom Hitchhiker to rest and bring peace to his restless soul. But as she continued her quest, Sarah began to experience strange and terrifying occurrences. Objects moved on their own, doors slammed shut without warning, and she heard the eerie sound of whispering voices in the darkness. One night, as she sat alone in her research room, Sarah suddenly felt a cold, icy hand on her shoulder. She turned around, expecting to see the ghostly hitchhiker, but instead, she was confronted by something far more sinister. Standing before her was a demon, its eyes burning with a malevolent fire. Sarah tried to run, but the demon was too fast. It grabbed her by the hair, pulling her close, and whispered a terrible prophecy in her ear. "You have meddled with things beyond your understanding," it hissed. "Now, you will pay the price." And with that, Sarah was dragged down to the depths of hell, where she would spend eternity atoning for her sins. The story of Sarah and the Phantom Hitchhiker had come to a terrible and tragic end, a warning to those who would dare to delve too deeply into the dark and twisted mysteries of Route 666.